Comrades of the various governments of the AES, dear participants of the first summit of the heads of state of the IAS, good morning. It is a great pleasure and an honor to be here today. A blessed date, a memorable date, the CIG 2024 here in Miami. First of all, let us give thanks to God who allowed this day to be. We thank Him for everything He has done for us until today and everything He will do for the people of the AES. Let me also pay tribute to the Nigerian people. This people who have suffered so much since the advent of the CIG and who continue to stand up. Thank you to the Nigerians who gave us a warm welcome yesterday when we swept the soil of our homeland here. You are more than friends. You are more than neighbors. You are our brothers. You are our sisters. Because brotherhood goes beyond friendship or neighborhood. We have the same blood that flows in our veins. In our veins flows the blood of these valiant warriors who fought and reserved this land that we call Mali, Burkina, and Niger. In our veins flows the blood of these valiant warriors who helped the whole world get rid of Nazism and many other plagues. In our veins flows the blood of these valiant warriors who were deported from Africa to Europe, America, Asia, or elsewhere, and who helped build these states during slavery. In our veins flows the blood of worthy men, robust men, standing men. And for this, let us be proud and be grateful for being descendants of the AES. Africa, this continent that has suffered so much and continues to suffer because of imperialists. These imperialists have only one cliché in mind. Africa is the empire of slaves. This is how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our lands belong to them. Our subsoils belong to them. They have never been able to change the logic until today. This is deplorable. But how do they proceed? Unfortunately, it is since the 1960s when these 6 miracles of independence were given to Africa. They just placed local valets at the head, according to them, of their sub-prefecture to be able to continue to feed them. These local valets that we are going to call slaves of Salon have no other purpose than to seek to live like the master, to satisfy the master, and to do everything that the master dictates to them. They steal, they plunder our states, they bring everything to the master, and their wealth is kept with the master. They do everything to live like the master and always satisfy him. When the master commands, they execute. Do you know who these slaves of Salon are? Well, we are going to explain to you what they are. These are individuals who have no dignity, who have no morals, who have no personality. But the slave master has always known how to identify these individuals. They are always ready to betray their brother to satisfy the master. They have betrayed us since independence, and others continue to betray us to the benefit of their master. These individuals continue against all odds to plunder Africa, to help the master plunder Africa. They like to say it every year in their economic poll that Burkina is the poorest country, that Mali is the poorest country, that Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well if we are as poor as they say, but when the time has come to take responsibility, we have asked this master to leave the place. Why don't they want to leave? When we take the case of Niger, for more than 40 years, some countries have been exploiting uranium to produce energy at home. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are illuminated. It is the light. But in Niger, it is the darkness that has served us. When you leave our states, our soils are full of precious metals, such as gold. But often there is not even the slightest access road to reach the areas where they exploit gold, even less certain basic social services. This is why we have decided to revolt and to take the fate of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples. But when we decided this way, well, we were approached by some saloon slaves to pass on the message of their master. Because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the heads of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain. And it is inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to enter the ranks to be part of the elite that must lead Africa. Because they have an elite formed and trained that must follow, that are embedded in this chain. We refused to enter their ranks, and from then on, the hostilities began. They made several mercenaries, deformers, agents, to come down to the Sahel to lead barbaric, cowardly attacks against our people, hoping to revolt them. In addition to these attacks on the ground, the communication attacks, the manipulation, the disinformation are full in their ranks. But the people of the Sahel have understood that we will never be able to manipulate them again. They know where they come from, they know what they do, and they know where they are going. We will no longer allow this. People are awake, and people are fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations. And thank you all for the fight that has been fought. This never makes us cry. We will not tremble. We will face. We will fight for real independence, for our freedom. Because to frighten the people of the Sahel, these individuals have only 3 words in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights. Of course, their local values are only elected in a democratic, free, and transparent process according to their values. What is more normal than to impose this on us? Because they are the ones who write the rules. Very well. We have decided to take responsibility. This is why, on June 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the slaves of Salon and their masters got on their horses. They put their local values forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people. We therefore said anyone who dares to take up arms in Nigeria will face us. Because we will wage a war without mercy to the last drop of blood for anyone who dares to attack our states. This word, this decision we made yesterday, is current today and will be current tomorrow and forever. Thus, we won the EIS on September 16, 2023, in a mutual defense architecture. But we felt it was necessary to extend and expand the EIS architecture. What brings us together today must allow us to go to other areas in addition to defense, including finance and economy, infrastructure, health, education, and so on. I therefore wish this moment to be for us a story that we will write for the EIS, but above all, for Africa and for the whole world. May God illuminate each and every one of us. May God inspire us in the tasks entrusted to us. And above all, when we do all our work, may we have only one thing in mind, the supreme interest of our populations. On this, we once again pray, good God, that He accompanies us all in our different tasks, that He protects our fighters, who, thanks to them, allow us to sit here and exchange about the future of our states. So once again, thank you, Nigerian people. Be united and united as one, people of the EAS, the homeland, or the death.
Too many other major challenges. That's why I ask all the time, who sees us and who hears us? We continue to be confronted by problems of blacklisting, which pale into insignificance when compared to climate change, but which destroy our financial sector. The illicit flow of weapons, such that the ease with which people can go into public spaces and shoot and kill others is now regarded as just another item on the news because we promote profit in the manufacture and trade of guns and weapons, of non-communicable diseases that strike down our people in the most insidious of ways because we allow diets that promote the prosperity of a few multinational corporations to become the norm of the day with the food that we eat and the lives that we live. And in the case within our own community, Belize and Guyana continue to face challenges to their territorial integrity. I suppose people feel that because we have talked so long about Belize and Guyana and Cuba, that we can continue to talk about climate change and these other things, and that it is okay for it to be another tick on a UN General Assembly speech. These are all threats to our stability, to the people's stability in our lands. But you know, since last we met, there are other instances and circumstances, not of our making, that may yet destabilize us. And we say it over and over, but we ask who is listening. And you know, we don't come with tales of woe only. The Caribbean has produced excellence. It really has. Nobel laureates, sportsmen who have excelled and are the best in the world of their type, artists, the best in the world of their type, leaders who have inspired previous generations and current generations. We don't come here as a proud people asking for handouts. We don't want and will not be mendicant. What we want, no, what we need is fiscal and policy space. Fiscal and policy space to achieve sustainable development, to be nimble, to adapt, and to innovate in ways that allow us to be true and faithful to the task of bringing prosperity to our people, or as in the theme of this General Assembly, to eradicate poverty, to educate our people, to include all such that there's not some outside and some inside. We want an international order equally that recognizes that there must be different policy prescriptions to suit the circumstances that we all have. And we can still be friends, small and large, north and south, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, all different races, all genders. An equitable and just international order that is truly built on the principles of justice and fairness for all and not just for some. A United Nations that recognizes that as 74 years old we must be able to have difficult conversations as mature people and solve them. Many in the developing world were persuaded or required to abandon policies that were designed for the majority of our population to be transformed. And those policies were fashioned to adopt a consensus that was settled in Washington, D.C. and named thereafter. And that ultimately, regrettably, was about the consolidation of wealth in the hands of a very few. And that's why we have seen the growing inequality that we have seen in the world over the last few decades. That is why too many people over the world have become cynical about governments and about the benefits that they can bring to them. The fueling of the greed of a few threatens to undermine what little gains we have made since independence. And we judge ourselves harshly because independence is a recent phenomenon for us. Others who have taken 150 years to get where they have gotten are still stumbling and falling. And you want to judge those who have had less than 50 or 60 years to operate in a world that has not been made in their image and that does not reflect their interests. This is the fate, my friends, of simply too many. And Mr. President, despite our small sizes, the 14 countries of the Caribbean community have been able to play leadership roles of international import. I can't stand here today without talking about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that has become the smallest nation of the world ever to be elected to the Security Council to sit on it. We are proud of them. In addition, and I want to speak to this, because when CARICOM was confronted with the unfolding situation in Venezuela, I accompanied the then chairman of CARICOM, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, to meet in this building with the UN Secretary General in January of this year. And we met with many delegations, and some said we were wasting our time, and some said the time for talk was already over. And we said then, as we say almost 9 months later, the time for dialogue, the time for talk, my friends, can never be over in a world that wants peace and prosperity. We don't take sides, but what we know is that you cannot propel war over dialogue. The people of Venezuela must be allowed to decide their own future in accordance with the principles of the United Nations Charter. Principles of non-intervention, non-interference, prohibition of the threat or use of force, respect for the rule of law, human rights, and democracy. It is regrettable that other multilateral organizations have not followed their own charters. And that is what makes the actions of our Secretary General of the UN more laudable, for refusing to breach his own charter and take actions even though member states have hurled into the recognition of those unelected. Our Caribbean Sea must remain a zone of peace, and for that we shall fight. Mr. President, I speak plainly and without fear, because from independence, Barbados' foreign policy has been premised on the simple principle of friends of all, satellites of none. Barbados, therefore, has always remained and will remain proud to have Cuba as a treasured friend.
Hey guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. Remember, if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Okay guys, in today's clip I hope you have heard and listened to President Ibrahim Traore's speech and Mottley, the PM of Barbados, and they have clearly came out and said that it's really high time for some Caribbean countries not to be afraid of United States, because Barbados PM has said that Cuba will remain to be treasured friends with Barbados, and same to apply to Jamaica, because we have all seen earlier on United States government sent warning to some Caribbean countries, especially Jamaica. They told them to cut ties with Cuba or else they will cancel all US visa. But we have all seen how a lot of Caribbean people have reacted. A lot of Jamaicans, they have came out and reacted to this, because it's really high time the people of Jamaica and the government of Jamaica to stand on its own. It's really high time for this government to know what it's want, not to be controlled by other nations or other Western countries. But if you don't do like this, we will cancel some business with you, or we will cancel some US visa for you. We have all seen how some Jamaicans have came in large number complaining, and they don't want these things to go on, this threatening, whereby President Donald Trump has came out and said that if Jamaica can't cut ties with Cuba, he will cancel all visa, and not only Jamaica, to all some Caribbean countries. And there's some Caribbean countries that have came out and say that they have a very strong relationship with Cuba, because Jamaica and Cuba, they have really related a lot. If you go to Jamaica, there is a lot of Cuban doctors that are coming from Cuba to go to Jamaica to treat people. If United States want Jamaica to cut ties with Cuba, will United States bring their own doctors from United States to go to Jamaica to treat these people? These are the question a lot of people, they are really asking themselves, and it's really high time for the Jamaican government to stand its in on. There is no need for the Jamaican government to cut ties with Cuba, because they are really depending on each other a lot. They are really depending on each other. We all know even Jamaica and United States, they have a very strong relationship, but to this point they have taken the relationship too far. There's no way some country can control you. This is like you have not attained full independence, because Jamaica is just being controlled by other countries. Why can any government come and tell you to do this and this, and at the end you can't get enough benefit like you are gaining from other countries? Cuba and Jamaica, they are really related a lot. There is a lot of Cuban people who are in Jamaica, and there's a lot of Jamaican people who are in Cuba. They are really exchanging their history, their culture, their food culture, and it will be so difficult for Jamaican government to cut ties with Cuba, because of how they really depend on one another for long. How can US government tell Jamaica to cut ties with Cuba? Who do they think they are? Yeah, we know they are the strongest country in the world. They have a very strongest everything, but it's really high time for the Jamaican government, the Jamaican PM and rulers to decide whether to work with the United States or to work with other countries in a very peaceful manner, not to be controlled by other people. Because a lot of Jamaica, we all know there's a lot of Jamaican in the United States who are really maybe doing some jobs so that at least they can earn a living, they can send some remittance money to their family. But also, Cuba is really playing a very big role to Jamaican government. Cuba holds the health of Jamaicans. Cuba, it has a lot of doctors that are really working in Jamaica, and what I can really just say, Jamaican health come first, Caribbean health come first. Mottley Barbados, she actually came out and said that they have a strong relationship with Cuba, and they will still continue to work with Cuban government, Cuban people, because of what they benefit from them. So let me know what you really think about Jamaica, either cutting ties with Cuban, or Jamaican continue to do business with the United States. Can Jamaica still do business with the United States, or either cut ties with Cuba or still continue working with Cuba and they cut ties with the United States? Kindly let me know in the comment section. So guys, if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you. One love.